Welcome to this wonderful session. A very warm welcome to you. In this session, we'll discuss part 4 of chapter 3, that is plant kingdom. You know that this chapter is having 7 parts. 3 parts already we have discussed. This is part 4. In this, we'll discuss general characteristics of pteridophytes, different type of pteridophytes, that is microphyllous and megaphyllous, their characteristics, their comparison, and then alternation of generation and economic importance of pteridophytes. This is part 4, in which that is detail of pteridophytes will be discussed. You see, children, now this is pteridophyte. They include this important question. They include horse, tails and ferns. Can you remember the same thing for bryophytes? Bryophytes, they includes, yes, liverworts and, tell me, liverworts and mosses. The question used to come. Pteridophyte includes horsetail and ferns. These are seedless. Seed is not developed. Vascular plant, but the vascular tissue have been formed. So we can call that these are seedless, that is vascular plants, also known as vascular cryptogames. Vascular means that they have, that is, they have xylem and phloem vascular tissue have been formed, but the flower is not formed. That's why the marriage is hidden. Cryptogames. Can you remember? Seedless vascular plants and vascular cryptogames. This is important question. This is also important question of NEET examination. Commonly known as vascular amphibian. See, vascular amphibian. Amphibian means, children, which needs water to complete their life cycle. Amphibians these are. That you have seen bryophytes were also known as, that is, amphibians, bryophytes. Is it clear? These are the bryophytes, but they do not have vascular tissue. On other side, these are pteridophytes. Pteridophytes are known as vascular amphibians, also known as reptiles of plant kingdom or snakes of plant kingdom. It's a very interesting one. You see, some of the ferns are there, just like, that is, adiantum. This is a plant is here. This plant is growing here. This is the underground, that is stem, and these are the fan-shaped leaves. That is, the leaves will bend, and the leaves is having, that is, a bud at the apical point. The leaf will touch the ground, and again a new plant will develop here. And in that way, just like these reptiles, they used to creep, they used to grow on land. That's why known as reptile of plant kingdom or snake of plant kingdom. Is it clear? First successful, that is, plant group on land, because they have vascular tissue, they have, that is, xylem to conduct water and minerals, and to conduct food they have developed, that is, phloem. Successful plant on land. First, pteridophyte, these are also found in cool, damp and shady places. No doubt some of the pteridophytes are grown there in dry region also, but they prefer to grow on cool, damp and shady places. The reason is because, yes, can you tell me? Because they also need water for completion of sexual reproduction. The male gamete, that is flagellated one, that is motile one, and that needs water. That's why these are found in cool, damp, shady places. Pteridophytes are used for medicinal purposes, and these are also used as soil binders and also grown as ornamental. You see, their leaves are tender, beautiful leaves these are. That's why these are grown as ornamental plants also. Regarding vascular tissue are there, xylem and phloem are there, but in xylem the vessels are absent, they lack vessels, and in phloem they lack companion cells. Even sieve tubes are lacking in case of, that is, pteridophytes. However, some of the pteridophytes which contains false vessels, that is, this is pteridium, that this is salaginella and marshallea, that is, false vessels are present. Now, interesting point here is the dominating phase or independent plant body is sporophyte. You know, up to bryophyte you have seen that the main phase was gametophyte. Here the dominating phase and the independent phase is sporophyte, and it has well developed, differentiated into, for the first time it is having, that is, true root, stem and leaves. Important point. Here the independent phase is sporophyte. The primary root is short-lived. It is replaced by adventitious root, which are generally arises endogenously. This is a true stem, true leaves, and true, that is, roots are present here. Now you see leaves in pteridophytes. Leaves in pteridophytes. Some of the pteridophytes, they have small sized leaves known as microphyllous. The example is 𝕆𝕋𝔼𝕆. The example is Lycopodium. An example is that is Equisetum. I can make, let this is 𝕆𝕋𝔼𝕆. It is creeping one, it is creeping on the ground, and the leaves are very small like this, 𝕆𝕋𝔼𝕆. In case of Equisetum, it is the erect one. It is having that is stem underground, and here that is the leaves are small one like this. Small side leaves are there. This is known as Equisetum. The figures of this I'll show you just now. Some of the pteridophytes, they have large leaf. The leaves may be even up to 1 meter. You see, this is the underground stem, that is rhizome, and the leaves are fan-shaped leaves. Even they may be 1 meter in length, known as frond, and such plants are known as ferns. Macrophyllous, known as ferns. Some of the ferns examples are pteridium is there, pteris is there. Sporophyte bear sporangia on leaves called sporophyll. You can see here, I'm taking example of this. This is a leaf here. That is, leaf is pinnately compound. This one is in case of fern. On underside of this, it has, that is sporangia, sporophyll. That is the leaves, vegetative leaves. When it has, that is sporangia, it is known as sporophyll. Sporophyte, that is bears sporangia on leaves called, this is the main plant sporophyte, and it bears sporangia on sporophyll. Sporophyll may be distinct or they may be, as in this fern you are seeing this impact, that is distinct structure, while in case of 𝕆𝕋𝔼𝕆, that is a branch will become aerial, and this small leaves they will make, that is a compact structure known as cone. That is, this is known as cone or strobilus, and that the sporophylls, these are arranged in compact structure known as strobili or cone. Sporangia are developed at the abaxial side of the leaves. You are seeing abaxial means lower side. Sporangia will develop here on, that is, lower side. And here in sporangia that is we have the 2N cell, spore mother cell we have, which will divide by, that is meiosis division, and the spores will be formed. Detailed structure we have to discuss just now. That is, spores they produce by meiosis division, and they are produced by meiosis division, and the spores will develop again into, that is, gametophyte 1. Important point here is, if the spores formed here, that is, these are of similar size. In case of ferns, this fan-shaped plant, the spores produced are of similar size, known as homosporous. Homosporous means when the spores produced in sporangia all are similar size. That is, most of the pteridophyte are homosporous. But in some cases, just like Marsilia, Azolla, Isotis, 𝕆𝕋𝔼𝕆 and Salvinia, what is there in this? That is, we have, that is here, this is the cone-like structure. That is, two type of spores are formed. That is, one is small in size, one is larger in size. When the two type of spores are formed, two distinct size, the plant is known as heterosporous. Homosporous and heterosporous. What this spore will do? The spore will germinate, it will fall on the soil, moist soil, and in this case it will germinate into a very small, independent, multicellular structure, heart-shaped structure, that is known as, that is prothallus. Important point. Having n number of chromosomes. Spore germinate to give rise, that is inconspicuously small, multicellular, free-living, mostly photosynthetic, thalloid, non-vascular gametophyte called prothallus. It is just like rhizia, that is of bryophytes. What will happen now? On this, there will be male and female organs will be here. Male and female sex organs will be born here. That is, this prothallus will have so-called male menthridium and the female archegonium, which will produce that is male and female gametes. Prothallus that requires cool, damp, because it's very small in size, hardly 1 millimeter, that is shady places. They need water for fertilization. The male gamete will be formed here. These male gametes, that is, they are motile and they need water. Therefore, that is prothallus that pteridophytes, because prothallus need moist, that is surroundings, environment. Therefore, pteridophytes are found in a limited and restricted geographical region. Why don't we see pteridophytes everywhere? Because everywhere the water is not there. Prothallus, as I told you, it pairs male and female sex organs, anthridium and archegonium. In homosporous type, this is prothallus, homosporous condition. As in case of fern, I told you, that is both male and female are found on the same prothallus. It is monoecious one. While in case of heterosporous, we'll discuss, that is male and female sex organs are born in different prothalli. See detail of this little bit. Antherozoids, that is, are multiflagellated. Is it? That this is prothallus. You see, on prothallus ventral side, this is what are these? These are the rhizoids. That is here, that is the male and female sex organs will be there on, that is ventral side, male and female organs. The male will make, that is multiflagellated and spiral, that is antherozoids, which needs water. It will reach to the archegonia. Archegonia, these are reduced comparatively, and archegonia, that it is having the egg inside. Archegonia contains single egg. Water is essential for fertilization. This gamete produced here in, that is anthridium, that these gametes, they will float in water and they will come to the fertilization is internal. Zygote develops and form an embryo. Embryo forms, what will be here now? That is, this is the prothallus. That in this prothallus, children, you see these are the rhizoids. Here let the embryo, zygote that develops into embryo, and that embryo will divide, will develop into, that is sporophyte. This is young sporophyte, that the root will develop, it will get established, and this is the prothallus, and this one is that is sporophytic structure. Zygote forms embryo, and embryo that makes sporophytic plant, which have true root, stem and leaves. Is it clear to you? This is about the homosporous condition. In heterosporous condition, you have to see detail of this. Heterosporous, this is 𝕆𝕍𝔼𝕆. What is there in 𝕆𝕍𝔼𝕆? You see here that, I'm going to make it here, that this is 𝕆𝕍𝔼𝕆. This is the microsporophylls are there. That is at the time of reproduction, what will be there? That is aerial branch will come out and a cone-like structure will be formed, which is a compact one. At the apex of this is known as cone. If you see the structure of cone, in cone at lower side, we have megasporophylls. At lower side we have, that is megasporophylls, which will make megaspore, large side spores will be formed. And at the upper side, we have, that is microsporophylls, and in microsporophyll, small sized microspores will be formed. Is it clear? These microspores, they will develop into so-called male prothallus. This is called male prothallus. While this female, that is megaspore, that still remain attached to this mother plant, and that will develop into female prothallus. It develops into, that is female prothallus. This is interesting one. Male prothallus is released, while the female prothallus, it is still remain attached to the mother plant. Heterosporous species, female gametophyte. Male prothallus means male gametophyte, which will make the male gamete. Female prothallus means female gametophyte, that in female gametophyte, what will be there? There will be, that is archegonium will be there, and you know in archegonium there will be egg, known as female gametophyte. remain attached to the parental plant. Very important this one is, you must understand it. Female gametophyte that is remain attached to parental plant for variable periods. It will be fertilized, egg will be fertilized even, that is archegonia is there on the mother plant. Development of the zygote into young sporophyte, that is young embryo, takes place within the female gametophyte, and the female gametophyte is still attached to the parental plant. This event is precursor of seed habit. You know, in case of angiosperm, this is the flower, that is in flowers what is there? Come on, in flowers what is there? That is, this is the ovary. Inside the ovary, this is ovule, the female gamete. That is, here the seed is formed. Seed is formed in flower, and the flower is still attached to the, that is mother plant. This is seed. So this is known as seed. While in case of 𝕆𝕋𝔼𝕆, here in case of angiosperm, the seed is attached to the parental plant till maturity. While in this case, that is, this female gametophyte still remain attached to the male plant. That is parental plant for variable periods. After some development, it may be detached from the parental plant, and the further development of the sporophyte that will take place away from the parental plant. But even then, it is still fertilization will be on parental plant, and this event is known as precursor to seed habit. Tendency towards seed formation, very important statement, you have to remember it. This event is precursor of seed habit, that is tendency towards seed formation, and which is considered to be an important, that is event important steps in, that is evolution. Is it clear? Life cycle is, come on, this is 𝕃𝕀𝔻𝔼𝕆. I'll tell you, in NCERT only one term is there, that is known as 𝕆𝕆, that is 𝕃𝕀𝔻𝔼𝕆, 𝕆𝕆. But here we have divided this into two. For case of bryophyte, this is 𝕆𝕆, while for case of, that is pteridophyte, generally we use, that is 𝕃𝕀𝔻𝔼𝕆 type of life cycle. Is it clear? Life cycle of pteridophytes, they have what? Independent alternation of generations, right? And means sporophyte and gametophyte, these are having independent, that is existence, and independent of each other these are. Is it clear? Now I'll give, that is little detail of this. I may summarize what we have seen so far. You see, children, that the pteridophytes, these are of two types. One which are, that is homosporous one, is it? That is, these are homosporous. Yes, most of the pteridophytes are homosporous one. That we are taking an example of that this is example of a fern. You see, if you see example of a Dryopteris, now you see that a Dryopteris, it is having the underground, that is stem, known as rhizome. It is having the adventitious root. These are adventitious root. Primary root is replaced. That is, this is the growing point of the, that is rhizome. At the growing point, it is having the young leaves, which are coiled one like this, right? Important characteristics. Now, that is, the fully grown up leaves is just like a fan-shaped one, and it is pinnately, that is compound leaf, large leaf, fan-shaped leaf. This is known as, that is frond. What happens? This is the true stem. These are the, that is root, and this one is the, that is leaf, right? What happens at the time of sexual reproduction? On underside of this leaf, this is pinna. This is a part of the leaf. This is one complete leaf. This is one complete leaf. This is pinnately compound leaf. At the time of sexual reproduction, what happens? That is, on this underside of pinna, that is sporangia are born like this. Sporangia, if you see, cut a section of sporangia, then sporangia, sporophyll, this is having the sori. These are known as, that is sori, and 𝕍𝕀𝔻 is having that is sporangia. That is just, I'm just giving an introduction of this. Detail is not at all required. These are known as sporangia, and this leaf which bears sporangia at abaxial side, this one is yet abaxial side. This is known as that is sporophyll. Is it? Now this sporophyll, sporangia, in it has diploid spore mother cell. This will divide by that is meiosis, as a result of which that is haploid spores will be formed, and all spores are similar. That's why these are known as homosporous, right? These spores will be dispersed. They will fall on that is moist soil, and this will germinate, into very small, that is fine structure known as prothallus. These are the rhizoids, and this is the prothallus one. This is green, hardly about millimeter in size, and this structure is known as that is gametophyte. Gametophyte means that is called prothallus, right? Now on this prothallus, as I told you, this prothallus will have so-called male and female sex organ. Here the male gamete will be formed, and here that is the female gamete will be formed, right? Male gamete is, this one is, that is motile, therefore the water is required. What will be now in this prothallus? Now in this prothallus, on underside, that is in archegonium, the zygote will develop, and zygote will develop in time to come. This zygote will divide, and here in this, that is the young sporophyte will come out, and this young sporophyte that will develop into this. This is the condition that is in a typical pteridophyte one. If you see that is alternation of generation, you see that this is the sporophytic phase, sporophyte, is it? This one is sporophyte, having 2n number of chromosome. Sporophyte, it has that is sporophylls, is it? Sporophylls. Sporophylls, they bear that is 𝕍𝕀𝔻. 𝕍𝕀𝔻 has that is, yes, sporangia. Sporangia has that is spore mother cells, and which are 2n structure. Now there will be meiosis. As a result of meiosis in the spore mother cell, yes, the spores will be formed. Spore germinate, it develops into structure so-called, is what is the name? Prothallus. Prothallus, it has that is male sex organs and the female sex organs known as, come on, that is known as antheridium, right? Antheridium, and that is known as that is archegonium. Is it right? Then water is required, that is antherozoid here, that is coiled one and multiflagellated one. It will come to the archegonia, which is lying at where? It is lying on the under surface of this prothallus, under surface. This antherozoid will come, will fertilize, as a result of which that is what will be formed, that is there will be what? Fertilization, and as a result of fertilization, that is zygote will be formed. Zygote will develop into, divide by mitosis, it develop into that is sporophyte, and the sporophyte, it has true, that is stem, that is root, and that one is, that is leaves. Is it right? You see that this phase is, that is 2n phase, this phase is, that is n phase, that is the dominating one, that is dominating one, but both phases are independent. This is also independent. Therefore, the life cycle is known as, what we'll call to this, that is, this is known as, because this is the dominating one, this is recessive one, that will be known as, but both phases are multicellular, that will be known as 𝕆𝕋ℍ𝔼𝕆 life cycle. 𝕆𝕋ℍ𝔼𝕆 life cycle. Is it very much clear to you? Yes. In what happens in Heterosporous, I told you the detail of this already. Come to the next now, classification. That is, pteridophyte are divided into 4 classes: 𝕍𝕆𝕉, Xylotum, known as living fossil; Lycopsida, where we have that is small sized leaf. One is Lycopodium, club moss, and Selaginella, known as spike moss. Then Sphenopsida, Equisetum, and Pteriopsida, this is the highly evolved one, which includes ferns like Dryopteris, like that is Pteris, Adiantum, known as working fern. These are the diagrams. Selaginella, you can see it, Selaginella, a large diagram of this. And this is the fern, that is big sized leaf, fan-like leaves are there. This one is Salvinia, and this one is that Equisetum. This is the underground rhizome, that is the branch will come out. These are the sporophylls, which will make the strobilus, or known as that is cone. And these are the that is node. At node we have small side of that is leaves are there. These are the branches. If you see that this is one branch, this is one branch. On this branch we have, these are the small sized that leaves. This is microphyllus, is it?